Okay, so the pitch your project or the pitch your designer input session starts now. If you have an open source project that you need or would like some design input to, so if you're looking for logo design, visual design, interface design, usability testing, understanding what your users think of your software, understanding what your users need from your software, then you can come up and give a brief introduction of what the project is, what you're looking for. And if you're not really sure what you're looking for, we can kind of discuss it. And maybe there'll be somebody in the room that can put up their hand and say, yes, I know about that, I want to help. If not, we can post that on the jobs board, on the open source design jobs board, which is free. Don't worry, there's no charge or anything. That will be then publicized to designers. It will go on Twitter and other places like that. And then what happens is people get involved and say, yes, I'd like to help with this. And then you go off and you make things happen. If you're a designer, a user-centered designer, you can say, okay, hi, I'm Bernard. I'm a user-centered designer. I know about user research and interaction design. I'm interested in security and privacy projects. I'm happy to work on this. If you're a project in the audience and you say, we need some of that, you can put your hand up and then we get together and work out what it is we can do. Does that sound straightforward enough? Yeah.
I'd like to pitch my project. If I have a lightning talk slides. Can I use them, or is that?
You certainly can, if it'll fit in about 2-ish minutes.
If you don't have other candidates, maybe more.
Or if you, yes, indeed.
Anyone else wants to do that? Oh, we have to.
Okay, 2, excellent. Maybe 3, even better. 4, wow. Any advances on 4?
Then 5 minutes.
Okay, so yeah, I mean we'll go for kind of 4 or 5 minutes. We've got until about 5 to 7 when we have to vacate the room. So if you want to get your...
Maybe I can get started by faffing around with...
Yes, you faff around.
Someone else can pitch
If you
while
need
I do that.
that.
That's what I don't have. This is...
Okay.
This is
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You can use mine. Yes. Let's see if it works. If it's a web thing, you can use my laptop.
Yeah, I do have it on the web as well.
Okay. Okay, so if you want to put that on your... up to your mouth. Is it working?
I'm not seeing anything. This is...
Okay, then we'll use this and we can... What's the thing I'm looking at?
I thought that was a short link.
Come on.
Is it not working either?
This happened last time.
Help us with this.
Okay, if you give me a web link.
Yeah.
We need to finish it, otherwise we're not leaving.
Otherwise we're not leaving. Okay, boss.
Maybe while we're doing this, someone else could already pitch.
Yes. Does anybody have? You need a computer.
Is that?
Does anybody have?
I can learn mine.
You don't. There we go. Okay. So, if you want to start, if you give this gentleman the microphone. Yeah, for the recording.
So let's start the chrono. So I speak in the face of this.
Yes, please. If you go
Okay.
and stand on that little spot over there.
Oh yes, okay. Hello, my name is Boris. It's my first time in English in public, so I'm sorry. I just learned it at school in France, so in France we don't speak really well English. Sorry. I work in an electric company in France, which is a TSO, so it's a transmission system operator. So it's power lines and substation. And we work with the Linux Foundation on a project. It's a social welfare project in order to increase the way we digitalize the network. So it's about energy transition. And I'm responsible of a project. The name of the project is Operator Fabric. What it is about, it's simple. It's a GUI, and you have here a feed of cards. And here you have the detail when you click on the card. It's like WhatsApp, but here it's or Google. I don't remember the Google solution, but it's little cards, and you have warnings. And when you click on it, you're responsible for the energy, so you have to do something. For example, cut the electricity. It's a stupid example, but for example, cut the electricity, and then you click, and then you switch off the electricity. It can be more complex, but it's about the workflow of cards. You're responsible for this card, so okay, I do that, and then I send to another one. Today, how it works, it's phone calls between operators. The objective is to make this kind of GUI, and we didn't design it. So it's only my own feelings about it. So I would like to have maybe a UX designer or someone can help to design this kind of things correctly. Was it clear?
Yeah, that sounds like a very interesting project.
I will ask the staff if it's possible to make a lightning speech. I won't be the speaker in 2020 about that. And it's more about electricity and open source, because we have a lot of things. We are open sourcing a lot of R&D. In my company, 30 years of R&D. So we are open sourcing slowly, things after things.
Yeah, okay.
So it's about calculation on the network, things like that.
Data visualization.
Yes.
Okay.
GIS, maintenance, predictive maintenance,
Okay.
AI, because when I speak about the operator, clicking on cards, it can be an AI too. So things like that.
Okay. Is this a once-off?
A what?
Couple of hours, couple of weeks? Is this like an ongoing thing?
No, it's years of project. We're speaking about 5 and 10 years
Okay.
of project.
Okay.
Yes. So my project is maybe 200,000 lines of code, Java, but we have millions of lines
Okay.
about energy.
So.
And we're speaking.
Do you want to do that?
For example,
We hire, we hire developers.
this interface,
Yes.
could you elaborate more on what kind of change it can make for people? Like maybe it can help climate change?
Oh yes, yes, it can help climate change. What I was speaking about the cards, it was about operators, operators on the grid. But if you think about the future, 100% of renewable energy, we work on calculation models that helps to get off gas production, etc. So we have only renewable energy. So it's what we call en français intermittent. It exists. It's here, not here, etc. So we have batteries, and we operate batteries all around the network at a European scale. So yes, it's climate changing thing. Yes.
How can designers contact you or find you?
I can give you my email. And there's a website which is lfenergy.org, lfenergy.org, which is a Linux Foundation project. But we don't have design by Linux Foundation. We have to work on ourselves. We are looking for building a community.
Yes.
So that's my call to one who comes. We hire engineer, we hire designer, we hire...
Okay. How about we put together a job advertisement?
Oh yeah, so we have, it's in French, but I can translate it with deeple.com, it's easy. Okay.
Put it on opensourcedesign.net.
Okay, great, I will, tonight.
Great. Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
And if anything is difficult, just contact us here on Twitter.
Okay.
Open Source Design.
Okay.
We'll help you post it. Or
Maybe Linux Foundation will contact this one.
yeah,
Hmm?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will give them the message. Thank you for your...
Yeah, stay with us and
I-
present it next year as well.
Oh, I really like.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So my name is Casper, and my project is kidspace.org, and you can already see on this presentation that I've failed on some design aspects here, but the font has gone a bit wrong. It works on my computer, so I never checked it. Anyway, so I'm an electronic engineer, and I'm a software developer, but this project is about electronics and about soldering electronics, and obviously for electronics you have a PCB and you have the parts that go on it, and then through careful application of heat you put them on the board. You have through-hole parts, you have surface mount parts where the legs of the components don't stick through the board. Yeah, you can when you do surface mount, you often do reflow soldering. You can do this at home using a hacked kind of toaster oven. You can learn a lot about this at your local hackspace if you're interested in doing this, and people do. The way you design electronics is through CAD software, where you have, on one side, you define in a schematic entry where you define the connections between your components, and then you go to a physical model of the board and you connect them up as you specified before. So people do this and they share it freely, like on GitHub, the amounts that, and on other places, the kind of the base of open source hardware electronics is growing and growing. I kind of do this informal information gathering every year, and I don't. It went down for GitHub earlier just at the end of last year. I think that's something to do with the indexing, not anything to do with the Microsoft sale. I don't think there was a massive exodus. So electronics people are very good at doing very smart things, but often they're not the best at presenting what they've done to others. They can do some amazing spaghetti circuitry, and this is the same thing on the web. There's all these different kinds of ways of sharing electronics projects, and when you come across an open source hardware project, it's really hard to go, okay, these are the parts I need, and these are the if I want to remake it. So the idea is to get all these different ways of doing things and just get the bits that you need, which is the board and the electronic components. So what I've been working on for I don't know how many years is kidspace.org, and before even that, One-Click BOM, which is a bill of materials browser extension that automates retailer sites. So it goes to the electronic components retailer sites, and through the browser extension it does what you would do if you click around and buy this component and that component and that component, and it just automates that bit and puts everything that you need into your shopping cart. So that's the GIF of that. I don't know if we have time to watch the whole GIF. So it just goes to DigiKey here and it's put these components in the shopping cart. It's maybe not so impressive for 3 components, but if you have like hundreds, 200, 300 components, that's really, really useful. So that's available for different browsers, and it goes, basically you can cut your paste from it, from a spreadsheet, or you can go online somewhere and you can load it from a website and do that. So the other part is obviously the board up on the top there. So this is what kitspace.org is for. It's like a repository of combining these builds of materials with the board files so that you can put up your project and showcase it, and other people can come across it and easier replicate it. So that's what the Kitspace page looks like. You have it's also based on actually a Git repository, and then it just grabs the files that it needs from there. If you have a manifest file, and then you can present your project and have a README, but also the bill of materials, and these buttons in the middle, the green buttons, is where you can just click and buy the parts that you need. Yeah, I kind of gone through this. This is kind of what I started out with. Really what I want to go towards is now making it easier for people to upload projects. Electronic engineers are not always happy to learn Git or use GitHub. So ideally, I wouldn't be using that or using it in the background without people knowing it. So that's what we're moving towards. Right now, most of my work is spent on making it easier to put the bills of materials together. So this is a bill of materials tool where you can put your bill of material and then just go through it in like this spreadsheet-esque way, but have all the information that you need. I'm going to give a talk about this tomorrow. I developed this JavaScript library to parse electronic component descriptions. So that's just a kind of a real convenience if you've got a lot of different components that are just that you know by these descriptions rather than by the exact part numbers, and it goes from that to that. So that's kind of part of the bill of materials editor as well.
And what kind of design help do you think you need?
So I needed to be honest, I'm a single developer on this, so I need help everywhere. And I'm very interested in design, but I was never trained in design. And so I try and find shortcuts. Like for this, I found like a UI framework that I was happy with, and I try and just be as productive as I can without having any real design experience. So, huh?
You're doing great.
Yeah. Well, you haven't seen it work.
What about do you have sort of interactions with users? Do you have a vocal user community? Do you need maybe somebody to take on testing things with users and asking them if they understand what happens here or what happens there?
Yeah, so I have a chat on matrix.org and on Freenode, on IRC. And obviously the way you add a project at the moment is you open an issue on my GitHub and say, I want to add my project. So right at the start, I have to do anything, the user has to talk to me. So
okay, so maybe you're looking at sort of onboarding new projects. You go to kitspace.org, make new project, and have the user do it themselves. Yeah,
so this is the plan going forward, and the plan for that for me is because I'm happy to work with Git in the back end, and the user isn't happy with that necessarily. Some of them are perfectly happy with that as well. But so I'm integrating GitLab in the back end, and then trying to like wrap the API and make a nice user interface for people to just upload projects and have the same effect. Sure. So that's like an open. There's a pull request on GitHub where I'm working towards that. That's like Kitspace 2.0 in a way.
Okay.
And there's a lot of user interaction and things to figure out there what is an acceptable, what is a good design there.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a nice sort of self-contained thing that you're looking for. So what we can do is we can put a job description on the open source design website, and we can try and find.
Brilliant. Yeah.
The designer tab.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, and so I'm giving talks, if people are interested in this, I'm giving talks tomorrow in the CAD and Open Hardware Dev Room I'm giving one, which is probably interesting for designers, which is for it using Inkscape and using Inkscape to do PCB designs, so you can make more interesting kind of PCBs that are not the normal green rectangles.
Okay, very good, thank you. That's really interesting. Okay, do you want to? Yeah. You can use. You put that on, and give me the URL that you want to go to.
It's called beta.alerta, A-L-E-R-T, it's T-A, not T-E-R, alerta, no, just an A, not R, sorry, drop off, .io, or beta dot alerta, yeah. Yeah. Are you trying to cover up the password?
Yeah, I'm trying to be your.
What are you doing? I've got dots here. I got stars.
Don't say.
Oh, don't say. It's not that important. This is just a beta site.
Okay, so maybe give me an introduction to yourself and then what.
Yeah, so this is like an alarm management console. It's currently being used by lots of different people. I'm not quite sure how popular it is, but you know, maybe a couple of thousand different businesses and organisations around the world. The idea is to consolidate alerts or alarms from multiple different systems. I've had to rewrite it recently because the framework it was based on is being deprecated. The core of it is the coloured alarm lines here. So really the focus needs to be on that, and everything else needs to sort of fade away, if you like. And so you can hide, if that's going to work, no, that one. You can hide the menu, and then you can bring other filters in here and change filters, whatnot. But it does seem very busy. Like you can do actions on alerts, and so this brings the detail of the particular alert, and you can action the alerts here. Like you can shelve them, acknowledge them, unacknowledge them, close them, delete them. But I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot going on, and I wonder if that is kind of overwhelming for users. That's.
Do you have much interaction with the users? Do people say, you know what, this is really busy, I don't know what you're showing me?
Well, this is the new version, and the old version didn't have so much sliding in, sliding out, coming up and down to it.
Much feedback from?
I've had people say it's very good, but I don't think they've seen. I haven't been able to introduce all of the old functionality yet, and each time I'm adding a bit more to bring it up to feature sort of parity. It just feels more and more busy and more slightly overwhelming. I don't know, because they are tabs across the top as well, so there's different environments. You can filter by service. There's a search box here, so you can filter what you're seeing, but you can also change the original search that's pulling the data from the API. So there's two layers of filtering, if you like, or, four if you consider time and environment, and then there's a whole CRUD thing going on here as well. You can add and delete users, create customers, blackouts, which are, suppressing alarms. There's a lot.
Okay.
But really, the alarms is the focus.
Okay. How do people get in contact with you? I guess alerta.io.
Yeah. I've got a GitHub, alerta/GitHub, or Twitter. I'm alerta.io.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe again we can put together a job advertisement advertisement for the
Yeah.
open source design.
So it's an open source project. I make no money from it. So, you know,
Yeah.
there probably wouldn't be a fee involved.
That's
Yeah,
also
well.
totally fine. We have jobs that are free for paid, ongoing paid,
Right.
once off. Yeah. Okay.
So was someone else?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. You have like 2 minutes because we have to be out by 7 o'clock. So
I'll
sorry
try.
for the
No problem.
pressure.
Yeah, I tried to build a website linked to a database where there will be a lot of financial data about corporates. Each corporate must publish some figure about their sale, the pay to their employees, their benefits, the tax they pay to the government. And the thing is, it's published under PDF, and so for journalists or data journalism or ONG that want to dig into this data to know at what point tax evasion is a thing, it's difficult because they have to get the number into Excel basically and work with that. And I want to make a tools for them to be able to collaboratively build a database and then look inside and export CSV and things like that. And so I'm looking for help, obviously, to design a website that is easy to use for non-computer scientists, journalists or ONG. Easy as Excel, because I hope. I mean, and then also data visualization to see a company or the link between many companies, and so the webs.
Sounds great, but do you have already started it somewhere where people can read
Yes,
about it?
I just have a GitHub for now.
Maybe you could open and show it to everyone?
But there's no screenshots. There are only.
No, we don't need screenshots. We just need to know how to find you.
Okay.
How do we get in touch with you?
Okay. The name is no. What is?
Quickly close all the issues.
It looks like open corporate.
Oh yeah, yes.
I was saying close all the issues.
Oh no.
That's if I had control.
Yeah, this is Open Corporate Facts. It likes Open Food Facts. I don't know if you know Open Food Facts, but what I would like to do is the same, but with financial digit about company. And so I'm using Symfony and PHP and MySQL database and things really classic, JavaScript and things like that.
Cool. Again, we'll put together
Yeah.
the job
Okay.
description.
Thank you for...
Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you next year, hopefully.
If anyone wants